I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Director Brandon,
Here.
Director Vasquez,
Here.
Director Clayton,
Here.
Director Adams,
Here.
Director Brown.
Moving on to item number 1, minutes of the regular meeting held February 22nd, 2024.
I've read the meetings of the minutes, and I believe they're fairly accurate, and I make a motion to be approved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to item number 2, committee reports.
Mr. President, your aviation support planning met twice. One of the things discussed was the large hangar and where Artcraft is the primary tenant. And so we're working on several different things to address the needs with regards to that hangar. And your finance committee met earlier this week as well, talking about rates and charges that will be coming before you in April.
Any questions for anyone? No, moving on to item number 3, general manager's report.
Mr. President, we, Terry and I attended the Meat Hunt Conference in Scottsdale, the week of the 27th of February. We met with a number of airlines and had some big conversations and planted some seeds. Nothing imminent within the next year or so, but we're hopeful. We had some bad news Friday, March 1st, in the early morning hours. Someone hopped their fence, 2 people, I believe, hopped the fence and broke into 3 owner-built hangars. My understanding that there's only one that suffered property theft, to the best of my knowledge, and stole a truck and a safe. The hangar off airport that's that we have a through fence agreement with. Apparently that Suburban was stolen from that hangar as well. And through this week or late last week, that vehicle was stopped by Grover PD and the arrest was made. So that's what the vehicle was recovered. So there's some things we're going to do. Committee item that comes up later, you're going to see one thing that we're going to do is we're going to start communicating better and get more focused on certain details and how we communicate when things aren't the way they're supposed to be, so we respond more immediate. So we're working. We also had a visit from Phil Hardy, our lobbyist, came to town, top lobbyist stuff. And that went well. One of the things that's going to be, I hope to have a presentation from Chief Jandridge in sometime in the coming weeks. The city is working on a plan, the fire department specifically, on how they locate their fire stations so that they operate better, get better coverage. Fire Station 6 plays into that strategy. The city council went before the city council. The city council supports Chief Dandridge's strategy, what he wants to accomplish, but it includes us. We have a 15-year agreement with the city for our services. That's up in 2 years, so it's time for us to have 2 years tomorrow when it comes to negotiating something like that. So we have to look at our agreement, and he needs to share with you all what he hopes to accomplish, and you need to share back with him what your concerns are of how our facilities are used. And I think operationally what he wants to do is the right thing. It's just the rest of it, the details, that you all need an opportunity to figure out and consider. So anticipate that, if not the next meeting, the fall, but I'll have to have him make a presentation. That's all I have.
Any questions moving forward? Moving on to item number 4, manager of finance and administration report.
I can make a motion to approve the, oh, go ahead.
That's okay, I was just gonna say, I provided you with the demand register.
Thank you. The man registered was good and usual good work. I make a motion to approve this. Presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 5. I'm sorry, is that all?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 5. Public session, statements from the floor will be heard during public session. Request to speak forms are provided for those wishing to address the board. After completing the form, please give it to the clerk. Requests requiring board action will be referred to staff and brought on the next appropriate agenda. Members of the public are cordially invited to speak on agenda items as they occur. Staff reports covering agenda items are available for review in the offices of the general manager on the Tuesday prior to each meeting. The board will establish a time limit for received testimony, in this case, 3 minutes. The board reserves the right to establish further time limits for receipt of testimony. So we have one here. Glenn?
Thank you for hearing me out. My name is Glenn Bjorkman. I've been applying for the better part of 50 years. I'm applying as the manager of San Diego Airport. 35 years. I've been a charter operation at Santa Barbara through 9/11, USA, and the restrictions that came along. On March 1st, the airport was breached. And before I get to the details of that, it should be limited because it's an ongoing investigation. On February 22nd, the board was given information saying that they made enough progress to pass the following week's Part 139 TSA inspection. It's obvious that not enough has been done. Just quickly listening, and this is because of only a few minutes, there's much more. But the security patrol in the area that was breached was not patrolled for 18 hours. It took over 12 hours to identify that the breach had occurred, and my vehicle was gone and their truck was out in the pouring rain this morning. The open gate was originally identified as a malfunction. My aircraft, like I said, sat out for 12 hours in the storm with the doors open in the rain. And they stole one vehicle was mine and another vehicle. There was a dismal response that allowed these criminals to go free. And this isn't the forum to go into details on that, but individuals who want to have lots of details. I'm requesting further meetings on this and help to participate. As being a victim, I know what it is, and more importantly, I've done this for 35 years, trying to secure the operations that I had in Santa Barbara. My hope is that we can rectify what happened so it doesn't happen again. And I'm here to tell you that as of today, no matter what the TSA inspection came back at, the airport is not safe and definitely is not secure. Airplane accidents happen. And when they happen, it never comes down to just one thing. It comes down to the chain of events. Someone was in a hurry, weather, whatever. There was a long chain of events that happened here on many different levels. And had anybody broken one of those links, we would have had the perpetrators back, and my truck would be here also. I just ask you to take a look at how this happened, and then it can't happen again. That's what I'd like to say. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 6, we will be pushing item number 11, authorization for tuition reimbursement for one staff member, up to item number 6.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm requesting reimbursement for our union clerk who's attending. Is working towards a bachelor's degree at this time.
I think it's great to make a motion to be reimbursed.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Going back to the regular agenda. Item number 6, discussion and consideration for ad hoc committees and liaisons and membership and assignment. So we all have. So I have decided to consolidate committee positions as well as add new ones. For a while now, I propose these changes to better align with our admin code and give our appointed positions the weight that they deserve and those appointed the accountability that is expected. So proposed is executive committee. This would be led by the president and vice president. In this committee, review of committee reports and determination of agenda items, review of admin code and policies, review of contracts and leases. For administration and financial, the secretary and vice secretary will review budget reports, review admin reports, and review contracts and leases regarding administration and financial. For safety and security, I appoint Steve and Chuck for a review of current safety and security policies, review of current safety and security infrastructure, meet with police and fire organizations as needed, and review contracts and leases regarding safety and security. For real estate committee, I appoint Steve and Michael to review all outside of the fence real estate reports, discuss and plan outside the fence real estate projects, and review contracts and leases outside of the fence. For airport planning and capital improvement, I appoint myself and Steve, president and secretary, to review all aspects of inside the fence reports, discuss and plan inside the fence projects, and review contracts and leases regarding airport planning and capital improvement. For government affairs, I appoint Nash, myself, and Chuck, president and vice president, to review city, county, state, and federal reports, meet with city, county, state, and federal organizations as needed, and review contracts and leases. For the marketing and promotion committee, I appoint Chuck and Michael to review marketing and promotion reports, meet and plan marketing campaigns as needed, and to review contracts and leases regarding marketing and promotion. Okay, I'm going good with that.
I have no objection.
Moving on to item number 7, authorization for the award of the U.S. Customs upgrades, building and site civil 3335 Corsair Circle to Newman Construction Management, Inc. An authorization for the president and secretary to execute the contract between the district and Newman Construction and Management, Inc. For the U.S. Custom upgrades, building and site civil 3335 Corsair Circle, subject to district council's review of insurance and bonds.
Yes, we received, as you just stated, we received bids and we recommended you approve. It came in quite higher than anticipated. But if we wish to continue with bringing GA Customs online, we really have no choice but to press through and fight this bullet and get the building approved to their standards. So I recommend.
Is it everything to fix the whole building up?
There'd be a second one after this that's for the roof. So there's 2 items, and that should be, I think there is a CCTV contract that we have to have separate because we have an existing vendor. But it's nothing like numbers like this. It's just adding some cameras internal to the building, external to.
I read the numbers on that, and I believe you're right. I'm gonna make a motion to do this.
Numbers are everything.
How many
many people that accommodate in the building.
How many people were coming?
Yeah, many people could walk into this customs building without it being a problem. I mean, that's,
I don't know what the office area is, just to go look at it. But it's meant for, one customs officer
right.
and whomever he's interacting with, which can't be more than a handful of people. But it includes, they have to have secure storage, so you can't have soft walls that somebody can just punch through, so that they have to be hardened. It has to be essentially a holding cell that meets certain standards for locking a person in a room. It's not, you have to be mindful of their safety, so there's improvements that have to be made for that. It's just a unique type of facility that we have to create to accommodate it.
I would move to approve it.
So we have a motion and a second.
Also, it's been a long story, sad story, but you're getting better thanks to the current events.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Mr. President, if I could just jump in to clarify something on our record here. On item 7, there wasn't any objection to the proposed committee membership, but I don't think it was a formal ratification or vote, which we do need in our admin code. So I recommend that we just go back to item 6 and see if, and call for a vote on the appointments that you're proposing.
Now we got 7 out of the way. We'll go back to the topics and we'll do a roll call for what was established.
President Randall,
Yes.
Director Basket,
So, okay,
Director Clayton,
yes.
Director Adams,
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to item number 8, authorization for the award of the roof repair for 3335 Corsair Circle to James A. Quaglino, Inc., DBA Quaglino Roof, and authorization for the president and secretary to execute the contract between the district and James A. Quaglino, Inc., DBA Quaglino Roof for the roof repair 3335 Corsair Circle, subject to district council's review of insurance and bonds.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to item number 9, authorization for the president and secretary to execute the 10th amendment of land lease between the district and the city of Santa Maria for Pioneer Park.
Mr. President, you've seen this before when we were speaking with the city, they asked for a minor adjustment on dates when they paid their rent, which staff didn't object to when your subcommittee reviewed it and didn't have any objections. So we just simply, hopefully this will be the last time you'll see it. We'll have a new lease amendment in place for the park.
Make a motion, we approve it. 1 second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to item number 10, authorization for the president and secretary to execute the quitclaim deed of release of mineral rights for 2916 Industrial Parkway to Curry Parkway LP.
You want to take this?
Yeah, I'll jump in on this one. This is a bit of an unusual situation, but it's one that we deal with from time to time. This refers to a 1 acre parcel, 2916 Industrial Parkway. It used to be owned by the airport until 1968. At that point, it was sold and 2 items were reserved from the grantee, one being a navigation easement and the other, which is pretty standard at the time, still is, was reservation of mineral rights. So the ability or the right to ownership of minerals within 500 feet of the surface. That's a pretty standard thing to be done when selling property at the time. We've dealt with this from time to time on some other properties that we've sold. The situation now is that it comes out as a cloud on title for the owner of the property, and anytime they're trying to finance or sell or anything like that, and we get inquiries from it. We have the mineral rights, maybe, if we had anything that we had before, but there's no right to access them. There's no right to go in and disturb the property. There's no access
anywhere around that property. Everything around this 1 acre parcel is completely developed. So there's no way, it's very unlikely, first of all, it's very unlikely there's anything there within 500 feet of the surface, but there's also no place to access any of it. So we received an inquiry from the property owner that the district exercised a quitclaim deed to give up the mineral rights if we actually have any. We reserve them. It doesn't mean they weren't already transferred to somebody else before that, but that clears up the cloud on title. And the main thing, the follow-up question, if I was on your side, would be, well, why would we do that? What does that do for us? It stops us from ever having to spend staff time and council time on this thing in the future, because it will come up every time there's a sale or loans put on the property or things like that. So like I said, we've run into this in the past in the district's practice in situations where we have a item like this one.
Sir, you could just throw around the door open up.
Right time of year though. And my recommendation is district council will be for the board to approve the quit claim. It's something that's not really real off of our books and stops us from having to mess with it in the future. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but that's just kind of the for the future.
I have a question. Who's Curry Parkway?
What's that?
Who's Curry Parkway?
Curry Parkway?
Yeah.
What do you, I don't,
That's the one that requested the mineral rights.
that is requesting the lease.
The release, yeah.
They're an entity that has a ownership interest in the parcels, what I understand.
You know, and Curry Parkway is just a total king because we're all tied in with Floral Financial, the New Mexico Taxpayer Association, LP, Planco Inc., Mercury Properties LP. So I mean, who are we releasing these to?
We're releasing, we're saying whatever we have, we're conveying over to you so that we don't have to worry about it anymore.
I mean, anytime you talk about releasing mineral rights, all right, give me the call to sign it over to. Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
But I had a question too. What assurances do you have that any drilling or exploration been done to, say there are no reasonably valuable minerals in that plot that we may have title to?
None that I'm aware of. It's more of a, it's more of a practical consideration in that if there were valuable minerals in that area, they likely would have been accessed a long time ago before the area was built out. That's just the way it works, and it's not going to be practical to access anything that is there now because we don't have any right to go in and dig a hole. There are no wells around there. There's no access to that. So the fact that we may, and again, I say we may have some mineral rights because as you go through, these are often reserved and not conveyed in the past, but the fact that we may have some right there really is of no practical value to us because we don't have any way to access it. And if there was something there, it certainly wouldn't be something that would be worth paying for the access to this 1 acre parcel, which is the only thing that we would have. It would just be what's ever in this 1 acre right here.
This whole area had a lot of oil wells. And oil is black gold in my view. I know it's not popular,
Right.
but I think that we should, in my view, know that there's not oil within the first 500 feet of that parcel. And it should be fairly easy for the person requesting this to drill and determine that so we have really no value that we can hand over to them. Or if there's value there, then we'll pick something else.
How close is this parcel to the airport?
Or I've looked at it on the map. I don't. Let's see here.
It's just part of the business park over there. So.
Let's see. Believe it.
If there's.
This and Long Trench was
This slot right here.
Yeah.
That, even with the entrance in
Okay. My view is, we need to have some certainty that there's low value there. If the firm low value, the person requesting the release should be able to determine that with some third party.
Well, to be clear, if there was oil there, we don't have a right to go put in an oil well. There's no, we don't have any surface access rights. It's only, it just means that if we do still own that, nobody else can excavate those mineral, whatever would be there, which is probably nothing, but somebody else can't go in there and dig the stuff up and sell it. We would have ownership rights to what, something that might be there. But we don't have the right to go in and get anything out.
How about it's done a lot in the oil industry, the slant drilling, the horizontal drilling in the ground, so you have to chase, there happen to be a
Yeah.
zillion barrels.
That's why I was asking how close was it to the airport? You know, there's a butt right up against our property.
It's surrounded by nothing but businesses already in development. There's no way we can get to it.
We would have to, if you wanted to do a horizontal drilling, it would be extraordinarily expensive. But we don't have the right to horizontally drill across parcels that we don't own. So we don't have any access to it. Even if we could, even if there was, $1 billion worth of oil in this 1 acre, which there isn't, like, it's just not, there's not, it's only to this one section. There's no way to get at it. There's no way to get in there. And in all honesty, this area has been pretty thoroughly explored, especially close to town over the years for potential resources. So there's just, I cannot 100% guarantee you that there's not $9 million worth of gold within 500 feet of the surface. But however many decimal places you want to go to, I can go that far, is what I'm saying.
I mean, this area has been an oil producing area for hundreds of years. There's no way that, like, if there's oil in there, it hasn't already been found.
But that's my recommendation. It's obviously your decision. If you want me to take something back, some kind of request for something else, I'd be happy to do that. But I honestly just don't, like I said, the benefit of us is not spending any more time on this when it comes up, because if it comes up in the future, it comes up 20 years from now, if we don't do it, whatever deal they're trying to put together falls through. It's 20 years from now, it comes up again. I'm not going to be here and probably nobody else is going to be here either. And then they go through this process all over again and look at it and figure out what to do or not do. So it's just not worth the repeated hassle from my analysis.
Well, you've answered my question.
Do I have a motion to authorize this?
Yes.
Do I have a second to authorize this?
Yeah.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
All opposed.
So do we have three? Can you say aye?
Yeah, we have 3-1, 3-1 with Gardner Adams being opposed.
Just want to clarify. All right, we already did item number 11. So now we will be moving on to closed session. Then you guys will be able to beforehand. Okay, so we go straight into closed session. Thank you, everyone. The exit closed session with reportable actions.
Thank you, Mr. President. The board did act to reject the claim presented by Mr. Yorkman on March 7th, 2024.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 13, director's comments. Who wants to start? Would you like to start, Jeff?
No comment.
I have no comments.
No comment.
Do we have any other crime reports? Because there've been other things that happened that have been reported to me, and I think they made some actions for cars out in the parking lot that had lines cut, fuel taken out all within the last 3 or 4 months. And I'd like to see added to our agenda, every agenda we meet, crime, hopefully will be down to zero reported crimes. The other item is, there's been interest in new owner-built hangars in the phase two. That interest has been stalled because of inaction here. I think we want to have new hangars on this airport. We should get back into some discussions for that. And maybe we'll still get some of those people who are ready to put down money to build hangars that eventually become airport hangars at very little cost to the airport to be done. And drone protection, right now, unfortunately, we're seeing more and more activity from drones. I got a phone call with people who have been hit with drones 2 days ago, and I'm still highly concerned that drones in this airport, which movie, as I mentioned before, has been written about a drone hitting the DC-10 coming in here for takeoff base, and then blood, fire, and gasoline, jet fuel. The burning bodies on this airport. There's an image that you never want to see come to reality. I think we are responsible for taking another look at defending this airport against drones. The little hobby drones, not much of a problem. They just have geofencing, but there's other types of drones that can be designed and used to cause great havoc at this airport. We should increase that security against them. That's my comment for the evening. And I'll make a motion to get dismissed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we still have the next one?